need to do this. Uh-huh. AJ, you showing, you're receiving this now?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, awesome. Okay, so we're going to broadcast live on Facebook. How about YouTube?
I'm checking it.
Okay. AJ, I do get a feedback on yours.
I just heard a little bit of feedback on yours.
Yeah. Okay. Huh. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Okay, well, let's try this. I didn't get a feedback on that, so I feel better already. All right, everybody. So, Silvia Mozer, this is today we have our mastermind with Neil Schwartz, where we get together a couple times a week. We talk to great agents across the country, get some information about what's going on, what's working, what's not working, what's happening with this COVID-19 in their marketplace, and really importantly, try to get into their head and understand the mindset. Because as we know on a daily basis, it's really all a mindset. Attitude, approach, and expectation. Attitude, approach, and expectation. And when that's gone, then we got to get back to attitude, approach, and expectation. So, all right. So here's what we're going to do. Silvia, tell us a little bit about you and your marketplace, kind of a Reader's Digest version, so we can get a feel for it and use that as a launching point. Okay?
Okay. Well, I moved here from Brazil 18 years ago, became an agent 16 years ago, and have been with Mike Ferry in the last 13 years. So when I moved here, I barely spoke English. So the scripts totally made sense for me. It was a very great help to be part of Mike Ferry group. My market here is pretty much tech and defense company. We are #1 tech company in Florida. So we have the SpaceX, which is Elon Musk, we have Northrop Grumman, Harris Corporation, and several other companies here that make our county a very good real estate. We have very good real estate activity here. We haven't had a lot of downturns other than 10 years ago, because we had so many investors speculating in our area, but it's been very good so far.
Oh, that's great. Excellent. So what you're telling me is you got your license about 16 years ago. You met Mike Ferry about 13 years ago. And between getting your license and going to work with Mike Ferry, I mean, where did you get your business? How did your business come about?
I pretty much worked with buyers. I didn't have any other way to. I didn't even know how to take listings. I had no idea what to do. So what I did back in the days, I would go to those Homes and Land magazine, and they had some leads there, and I would call them. So it still was kind of like a prospecting way. I was calling those people and see when they would come to town. I ended up selling my first piece of real estate in 8 days in real estate. And in 14 days, I ended up selling my second piece. And in the first 7 months of real estate, I ended up selling 13 transactions, actually, because I kept calling people, and I didn't have any scripts.
So, and all of these people were pretty much buyers, correct?
Buyers, only buyers. I only started working with sellers, I think it was 2008, maybe 1 year after I joined Mike. Until then, I didn't know how to deal with sellers.
So what was at your peak, how many buyer transactions?
I think I got to probably 22, 25, I think when it was 2008. And then I started transitioning to more listings and learning my scripts and learning what to say definitely helped. And learning how to dial because I was afraid to dial oh my gosh, it was crazy. At one point, I went to prospecting school, I think probably 6 times in a year because
learn
I
how to-
just wanted to get rid of it. I just wanted to get rid of the concern, and I was so afraid of talking to people. And I said, I don't want to be afraid. And I feel that is the most paralyzing feeling, is to be afraid of something. And I don't like it. So I said, I'm going to do this until I get it. And it came to a point, I had the realization, I said, I know what I have to do. It's not a prospecting school anymore. This is me. I have to just dial. And after a while, even when I'm afraid, I have to keep dialing until I set the appointments. And that's when I started dialing and transitioning from buyer's agent to listing agent.
Got it. And so as you started to transition, you were doing less buyers and more listings, correct?
No, at the very beginning, I was not. I was trying to get as many business opportunities I could, either buyers or sellers, whatever. I was not.
Okay.
I didn't think I was that busy. I felt like I really wanted to go back to work because I ended up becoming a real estate agent because of a lack of option. I tried everywhere for applied everywhere, retail stores, Lowe's, Home Depot, grocery store, whatever. Nobody would give me an opportunity because I was new in the country. So I became a real estate agent. So it's, yeah, that's how it ended up happening.
So that's interesting. So you couldn't find a job because of a language issue? Was that it?
No, because of my lack of background history.
So you didn't have any experience?
I had never lived in this country before. So when they looked at my social security, they couldn't find anything. So they wouldn't hire me.
Got it. So you didn't have a social security card at the time?
No, I had. But when they looked at that number, there was nothing, no credit report, no nothing, right?
I see.
So they wouldn't give me anything. They wouldn't give me an opportunity for a job.
Okay. So and you needed to work, correct?
I wanted to work desperately. I was going crazy.
Did you have a family at the time?
Yeah.
Kids?
Yeah, one son.
One son. Wow. So how old was he?
He was 2.
Wow.
2 years.
Okay. So you started the real estate business because you didn't have any options. You applied for the real estate license. It was English English was your second language, clearly. So you had to learn. I can't tell you how impressed I am, generally speaking, with people that come to this country that English is their second language. They have to learn the language. They have to learn to take the test. Understand the contracts that were 99% in English.
Yeah.
And then like in your case, there's 17 transactions in your first 8 or 9 months.
Yeah, it was 13 transactions by 7 months of real estate, but I had sales background.
Got it.
I had sales background, so I loved selling. That was something that I liked, and I think when you come in the position of really trying to help people, I think people see the difference and they're willing to work with you, even if you are not very experienced.
Great, excellent. Okay, so you shifted gears and you started learning the scripts and dialogues and learning how to professionally sell through the Mike Ferry system. Okay, so how did your business progress from there in terms of number of transactions or gross income of the next few years?
Well, I have to say my number of transactions started really increasing after one of the prospecting schools that I attended. And I ended up switching coaches I ended up having my coach, Steve Powers,
Great
which
guy.
made a total difference in my life. He's the one who really took all the negative things that I had, negative stories, and all the bad things that I had, the habits, bad habits, and he's the one who did this for me. And that's the reason why I grew so much in this business. I don't, there is absolutely no way I could have done it without him. It's really what helped me. So before, I was selling maybe 15 to 18 properties, and maybe I was at 22 and working many hours. Because when you work with buyers and you want to do the right thing, you're showing everything until they're happy. And with lack of experience, I didn't know how to ask questions. I just didn't know how to ask questions. What are the right questions to ask? And later on, I started learning how to do those things, and at the same time, learning how to take listings. So that's when, with the Mike Ferry system, learning the scripts and learning what to say it was key for me.
Great.
I think that when you learn and you know what to say, your mindset is in a different place.
Yeah. Your knowledge equals confidence, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
okay. So you started taking listings and selling at the same time. So how did the numbers start to build? What were the numbers?
I was starting to grow at least 20% every year. I could see that I was growing 20% every year. And if some of the years the numbers were the same, but the income was at least 20% better.
Okay, good.
So I remember talking to one of my friend, and she said to me, my goal is to make 100,000. When I make 100,000, I'm happy. And I'm thinking, gosh, I ended up making my first 100,000 when I was in the third year of real estate. I made my first 100,000. But then when I joined Mike, it was on the first year, I think the second year. The second year I made like 164, then 176, then it was 200, and then 250, and it started growing like at a much faster pace. Yeah.
So 2019, how many deals and what was your gross income?
So in 2019, I sold 91, I closed 85, and my gross income was 833,000.
Woo! Good
Just
job.
remember, our price point here is much lower. The average price range in my area is about 250. My average price range is about 350.
Okay. Got
Yep.
it. All right. So you shifted from doing 20 or so transactions way back when to last year doing 85, 90 transactions. What percentage were listings and what percentage were buyers?
65% listings, 35% buyers.
Got it. And do you have a team? Do you have a buyer's agent? Or is this all Silvia's business?
No, it's all mine. I only have a team of staff. Like I use a transaction coordinator to handle my transactions, and I have a marketing coordinator. So she handles all my listings until the point it goes under contract. So once it goes under contract, the transaction coordinator takes over.
I think I know the answer to this with Steve Powers being your coach, but I suspect that you probably practice your scripts and dialogues every day.
Every day.
Every day. Okay.
Every
and
day.
You probably, of course, with Steve Powers as your coach, you probably prospect every day.
Every day.
Exactly. So even
I want him.
years, go ahead,
I want to be in his schedule, so I got to do my job.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's a great attitude. I like that. So what about the days you don't feel like doing this, Silvia? Are there those days that it's just like, even before the COVID, there are days like that for you?
Oh yeah. I don't know. There's days like that for me. Well, I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna do it every single day. If I don't feel like it, it's just not gonna. It's not gonna be of good use of my time if I'm gonna just dial and never have the intensity or the thought that I'm gonna get something done that day. So if I am not going to call somebody, I am going to learn something for my business.
Tell
And
me about that.
one of the things that I always strive to do is how or what can I do different that I can service my clients in a way that they're gonna be 110% happy with me, and because of that, their house will sell, or because of that, they're gonna refer me somebody. So I never have a day that I don't think about how I do my business better. So if I'm not 100% committed in terms of my intensity to prospecting that day, I am going to use that time to learn something very important for my business. So at the end of the day, I don't feel I lost that day. I feel like I learned something different, and that I can apply to my business.
Very interesting. Can you give me an example of something you've learned recently that you were able to apply?
Okay, so let's say before COVID-19, I was not 100% committed of calling my past clients like every so often. I have to admit, I think I'm a hunter. I like to contact expireds and for sale by owners. I feel like, well, they just bought the house. Why would they need me for? But um, sometimes it's so interesting. They stay in their house for 6 months and now they are thinking about something else. Why not call them? And I had situations where they were living there for a very short period and they wanted to sell. And with COVID, even the people that I had not contacted for a while, when I called them and I said, I just wanted to touch base with you and see how you are doing through all this problem with COVID. Just want to make sure you're safe and you're healthy. They were so happy to hear, and I received great referrals from those.
Wow.
Even people that I deal with, sales rep from builders, people that normally I don't talk, but I say I'm going to talk to those people. Maybe they're going to have some business for me. And I received great referrals, referrals that became listings that I already got sold. So yes, it's things that you want to stretch yourself and do something a little bit different. If something's not working, because with COVID, the first time I saw that this was happening, I started to panic. I started to think, wait a minute, this market is going to go into a different direction. If I don't do something proactive, I could become one of those agents that are not going to have any income. So what can I do different that I'm still going to have a lot of income and my business still going to keep going? And one of the things was really calling my past clients and sphere more like faithfully. That's what I started to do. And it really worked great. So doing
That's
something different.
okay. So doing something different, thinking about where extra business can come from, doing something for the clients. So going back, so COVID was around mid-March here in California. Same thing in Florida.
Same time, actually, I was vacationing in Park City, Utah, and it happened right at that on that week. We couldn't even ski. Actually, I skied for one day, and then we couldn't do anything else. But it was a good time. I had time to rest, and I had time to reflect about how to do my business better. I started to think about what am I going to do when I come back. What are the steps I'm going to take? So I still had time to rest, but I was thinking about how to do this business better. And those are the things that how do I give clients better solution for this COVID? Like, let's say the 3D videos that everybody's starting to use. I've been using 3D videos for the last 5 years in all my listings. So providing really great customer service at that level, and those are the things that I've been talking to people. I said, look, I've been dealing with the 3D videos for a long time. I feel that that is a great service you provide anyways. Any buyer should be able to see those. So, but I wanted people to know. So I started talking to my past clients. I said, look, do you know how I present this type of homes? So even if you don't want to show it, there's no problem. We can show it virtually first. And they were very happy about it because some people were so concerned about COVID that they didn't want to show the house. I said, there's no problem. We can show your house a different way. Just different things we were doing.
Got it. Okay. So what did you increase your prospecting during this time, during the COVID time? Did you increase your practicing? What shifted in that, if anything?
I increased my prospecting with past clients.
Okay.
That's what I did. I felt it was very important because everybody feels it's when you haven't touched base with some of those people for many years, you think, what are you going to talk about? You haven't talked to them for so long, but now it's a great opportunity because now you're going to call them. Hey, I was looking here at your name and I see that you bought your home how many years ago, and I just want to touch base and see how you're doing. I hope that you're doing safe and you're staying safe and healthy through this. And they feel so appreciated. And that's, hold on, I don't know what happened here. Yeah. And I felt that was a very, very good thing to do. And they felt very appreciated. And I've been receiving several calls because of that.
Good. Excellent. So what percentage of your business out of the 85 transactions came from past client and sphere in 19?
I would say about 30% because some of them came because they were my past clients, but some of them were sellers that became buyers.
Got it.
Right?
Got it.
So
So about 25 transactions.
Yeah.
That sound right? And how many people in your database?
About 400.
Okay.
And this is
So-
what I do. I clean up my database a lot, and I'm thinking I try to increase, but when I see, okay, these people, I don't want to work with them anymore, so I clean them up, or I keep cleaning them up, but they are a little bit tighter, better database, I guess.
Okay. Well, so that's interesting. So going into COVID-19, your database was bigger than 400 and you started working on making it smaller. Is that what I'm hearing?
No. It was bigger before, and not before COVID. It's like this. Every year I have to add more people to my database, which I do.
Okay.
But some of those people I touch base and it's like they don't answer the phone, or so I start deleting them. I don't
Sure.
keep them there anymore,
Okay.
or I don't send any cards anymore to those people. If so, I'm constantly looking at my database and only keeping the people that I know they're going to be there for me. If I call them, I'm always cleaning, maintaining that database, but
right.
always adding, but making sure that when I call them, they're going to be there.
Perfect. So during COVID, you made it even more of an effort to touch your people by phone, by email, by text. How did you do that?
Mostly by phone.
Okay.
And some of them, if I couldn't reach the first time, I was just doing the slide dial and leaving them a message.
What's a slide dial?
Slide dial is it's a program that you call, and it goes directly to voice message. Okay. So if I tried the first 2 times and I couldn't get them to answer the call, so the third time I said I'm just going to leave them a message, and I left them a message only. So some of those. So
you don't leave a message on the first 2 times you call?
The first 2 times I leave them a message on the first time, but then if I cannot get hold of them, let's say that I have already gone through the 400 people that I had to call, and I'm going to try to call them again if I haven't heard from them. And then next time I'm going to leave a slide dial message. That's
You
what
were
I try
able to
do.
generate some business because of those calls that you were making to your past clients
Yes.
here, correct? Got it.
Yes.
Okay. So during COVID, how many properties do you think you sold and listed?
I sold 10 properties during COVID, and I listed 8 properties so far.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. That is really, really good marketing stuff coming at, you can do that during, if you can do that during a quarantine, what can you do without a quarantine? Exactly. Good stuff.
Well, I think maybe
All right.
because I have a good coach.
Oh, he's a great guy.
Steve Powers keeps me on my toes. Like I have to really do a good job.
Exactly. Good. All right. So questions for Silvia. Questions for Silvia.
Well, Neil, a question came in on the chat line asking, what's a good schedule for an agent who's used to coming into the office who is now working from home?
Good.
I don't think that the time that you start from your home should change, because I come to my office at 7:15 every morning, because at 7:30 I do have the role play, and I like to role play from my office. And I don't have my distractions at home, like my cat and whatever. So I think that if you do the right things every single day, the right thing will happen some of the time, right? So I'm thinking that you have to do those things every single day. If you're going to start from your house, you still have to start at the same time. I don't think you should change. It's still your schedule. You're just prospecting or starting from a different place.
Awesome. What is your morning schedule, if you don't mind, Silvia?
Well, I wake up at 6 every morning. I am at my office at 7, no later than 7:15 every day. And then at 7:30, I am role playing. I role play every day. And at 8 o'clock, I'm calling. So sometimes a little bit earlier than 8 o'clock, I'm calling. I want to be the first to reach the expireds. And so I'll call for 2.5, 3 hours, depend. I will have some breaks in between. It's being a driver, I think it's very hard for me to keep the thing going for so long. It's too boring for me. It's I can't convince myself that it's difficult, but it's what I do. I take my breaks and then I come back, refresh, get a coffee, and then start again. And I try to do this so that I get at least one appointment. And sometimes I get an appointment, it's not even with sellers, with the buyers sometimes, because if I couldn't get anybody to respond or set up an appointment, then I call that buyer and said, look, that property came on the market, let's just go there and check it out. So something like that. I just want to get something under contract. And it doesn't matter if it's a buyer or a seller. That's what I'm trying to do.
Got it. Great. Other questions for Silvia, please?
I have a question. This is Tess. Silvia, hi, thank you. What motivates you every day to meet your goal?
Great question.
Well, thank you. That's a great question. Well, I have my goals in front of me pretty much all the time, right? I something like this. Let me see if I have it here. Oh, okay, right here. Can you see? Hold on.
Sure. Why don't you read it? Can you read it?
You can just read
Yeah,
it.
it's not coming out.
Okay, so I put here income goal $1 million. I want to get the Remax Diamond Award. I want to pay off my home mortgage. I want to buy a multifamily property. I want to sell 100 properties. I want to be within the top 10 in the county. Take my family skiing at Park City again, and take my family to Europe. So I like to look in my goals all the time, because that inspire me. I think that we have to keep those things in front of us, because what happens most of the time, I see people here in US, I think that people are a little bit impatient. They they trade what they want the most with what they want today. So let's say they want to buy that very nice car. They want to buy, let's say, a BMW 750. But you know what? They can't wait to make a certain number of transactions. So I said, look, if I make this extra $100,000 by May, okay, I'm going to buy that car. If you make it, go ahead and buy it. But the problem is they are not willing to do that, so they settle for something less. And I think that people are not patient to learn, and they just want whatever is today. And I don't agree with that. I think, you know what, you have a plan in your mind, work hard to get it, because it's gonna make you feel so good when you achieve that point. And I think that's what I learned
To go.
with Mike, is
Thank you.
to be patient.
That's great. I wrote that down. Trade what they want the most with what they want today. That is so powerful. Huge.
Yeah.
Good job. Great answer. Good question, Tess. Thank you. What else do we have out there for Silvia? Go ahead, Iris.
Hi, this is Iris. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Silvia. My question is, Silvia, you list so many homes and you still help buyers. How do you work out your coordinate or work out your schedule?
I think that great question, by the way. That's a very good question, because a lot of people struggle with that. If you focus on your schedule, like in the morning, you're going to concentrate on setting up the appointments and doing all those things every day the same way, and you schedule. Let's say my schedule is like this. If I am going to meet with a seller, I'm going to meet either at 1 o'clock, at 3 o'clock, or 5 o'clock. So if I know that I'm going to have a buyer to show properties that day, so I'm going to show them at 1, and I'm going to meet with the seller at 5 o'clock. So that's how I'm going to do it. Or if I'm going to meet with the seller at 1 o'clock, I'm going to try to schedule buyers at 5 o'clock. So I have that time in between. But I think I organize my day very well, but it's so strange. Although I sold that many homes last year, I still felt that there was so many days I was not really doing much. I feel like some days I was less, you know what? I think when you change and you start really becoming a better listing agent, you really have a lot more time left. And really being good at pricing homes so that it sells. And I think when you control a lot more of your time when you have more listings, for sure. And when I saw that was happening with me, that I had a lot more time, that's when I started becoming more of a listing agent. But I think I organized myself. And another thing is I pre-qualify the buyers a lot. If I don't, normally my buyers, I have to show them only twice at the most. I only have like 2 appointments at the most. They buy something. Sometimes on the first time I show them something, they will buy something. So I do a little bit more homework in terms of what I'm going to show it to them. Like I look at it, I understand, I listen to them. I listen, what exactly are you looking for? And then when they put something that is very strange, I said, look, are you really looking for something like this? I thought this is what you wanted. I said, yeah, that's what I want. I said, okay, so let's go towards that direction. So I really pre-qualify them well. And once I show properties, it's normally within those, whatever, 3 or 4 that I show that day, they're gonna make an offer on one. I just don't like to show too many on one day. I like to show the best, the very, very best. And I set the expectation. I said, I tell them like this. I normally say, Mr. Buyer, today we're going to do this. Today we're going to see the very best 6 properties there are in your price range, in your criteria, the location you want, in the school district you want. The next day we're going to see homes are going to be the compromises. Maybe it's going to be more expensive. Maybe it's not going to be in the school district you want. Maybe the layout may not be what you want, or they're going to be older. So normally they try to find something on the first day, and normally they buy on the first day. So you don't have to show everything. You have to show them the best. That's it.
Silvia, I'd like
Thank
to
you.
follow up on that a little bit. It's a great answer, but my question is, and this is my sense, but tell me, is that if they're unrealistic or you don't feel they're listening to you, my sense is you walk away from them. Am I accurate?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
I will refer to somebody else in my office if they are not going to listen to me. I'm going to ask more questions, and then I'm going to kindly confront them. Kindly, right? But I think at the end of the day,
can you do an example of kindly?
it's let's say if I say,
can we role play your version of kindly?
So if I ask them, I said, well, so Neil, you told me that you wanted to buy a home no more than 350,000, and you said that you absolutely needed a pool, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And when I showed you all these 3 homes, which are the best options with homes with a pool, you said that you don't like it because maybe you don't like the kitchen. So I asked you, are you willing to pay more than 350 so that you can get the house with the pool and the kitchen you want, or you don't want to maybe put the money into put in a new kitchen, or you absolutely don't want to change at all, either go more money or spend money later for a new kitchen. So if they say, I don't want to put more money and I don't want to spend money for the new kitchen, so I'm really wasting my time, I think. Do you understand? And then I say,
so would you say that to them, that you say, I think I'm wasting my time with you?
No, I never say that. Even when it's true. I never say it that way. But I asked them, do you really think that we're going to get somewhere by you keeping your budget so strict into that price? What is it going to happen if you pay the extra $25 more, maybe, let's say? I would try to calculate what's going to be the extra 20,000. And I said, if you pay $50 more and you have a happy wife rather than just a wife, wouldn't you rather just go for that? And he said, well, yeah, exactly. So why don't we just go with a happy wife than just a wife? So give her that kitchen you want and you get the pool you want. And then
great.
So one of the two will happen. They will either buy it, or if they feel they cannot compromise, then I'm going to say, I really appreciate the opportunity of working with you. I just don't feel I can help you at this point.
I love it.
Right? It's you just don't have to, even when it's true. I feel that I don't like to I like to keep the doors open. And Steve Powers always says, you can be right or you can be rich. And it's gone the time that I need to be right. I said, you know what? Sometimes you're not right, but you make the commission. And I'm thinking, sometimes you deal with agents that are super difficult to deal with, but because you didn't have the need of having to be right, you make the commission. And I thought, I don't have to be right. I just have to, and I like to set expectation to people, either to buyers or buyer's agent. It's past the time where having to be right is something that I need. I feel that is like when you don't have a lot of confidence, you have to be right. It's like a defense mechanism.
It's very interesting. That's a very astute observation. That's great. That's another thing I'm going to write down here. Good stuff. Anthony from YouTube's asking, how do you contact expired listing owners? Do you do it by phone or by door?
No, by phone.
By phone. So your first contact is always by phone?
Yes, by phone.
Got it. Okay, great. Okay, good. All right. Any other questions for Silvia? Getting close to wrapping this up with her. Yvonne, please.
Silvia, I want to thank you for the opportunity. From your face, I can see a face very sweet, but full of confidence and determination to succeed. Yes. And also, I like what you say, every day, there's not a day pass that without me thinking how to do my business better, to provide the best service. I love that. And my question to you is, How often do you change coaches?
I I have to say I changed coaches in 2011 last time. And when I changed to Steve, I said, I'm not changing.
Wow, so you have still powers for like 9 years.
Yeah, well, when you get the best, you don't really need to change. But I think that what happens is this sometimes, and I have seen this with a lot of people when I went to my fairy retreats, people they complain about things. Oh, my coach is not doing this. I don't like my coach because of that. And I said, you don't like your coach or you're not coachable? So I asked that question. I said, you have one of the best coaches and you're still complaining. I said, I have to think, do you like when they confront you? And sometimes they said they didn't like. I said, well, so you don't want to do your job. And that's a completely different thing. I think that you have to be open and you have to have blind faith. Whenever you start this kind of program, you got to have blind faith. And most of the times people have a very big ego. And that's one of the things I completely abandoned about myself. I think that when I was a lot more insecure about my language, the way I spoke, or at the very beginning of my career when I didn't know much about real estate, I think my ego was bigger then because it was a defense mechanism. I really think that you are angrier when you are a little bit less confident about you, yourself, your life, where you are in your life. But when you start gaining the confidence, I think you have to really be more open-minded for new ideas. And when people say something to you, say, why don't I just try that? Versus, no, I don't do it that way. This is not me. I don't like it. I would do that, but not this. And I said, why don't you just try to do it? And then you'll be surprised. Let's say one of the things that I think I probably convinced my whole life that I didn't like exercising. I just didn't like exercise. I kept saying that to myself and I told everybody. And for some reason I wouldn't exercise. But then I thought, gosh, I have to do something because I'm gaining weight and I'm thinking I don't really like being different than what I look. So I said, I'm going to go back to maybe exercise. But I've been running 2 miles a day, every single day. And I've been doing this for the last month. And I never thought that, because running is one of the worst things that I just hate doing it. And now I don't even think I hate. And when I don't, I feel like, oh my gosh, it's 6 o'clock in the afternoon. I think I have to run today. And I feel bad if I don't do it. And now I feel like it's integrity. Once you commit yourself doing something, when you commit with a coach, why not do what he says? Why not really listen to him? I think you should make him proud and make yourself proud and listen to what they say and say, I'm going to try this. Never did this before. I remember even the first times where I started using the script for the presentation, which it took a long time. And then I said, you know what, today I'm going to use the script 100%. Let's see what happens. Use the script, got a listing. I said, Jesus, like, if I knew that was this simple, I was going to have used the script a lot longer. So I just, that's what I think. It's not all about your coach, it's about yourself sometimes.
That's a
Yeah.
great answer. Great answer. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay.
one more
Okay. Iris, yes.
Yeah, Neil, I have one more question. Silvia, how big is your marketplace?
So we, every month we have about 1,100 properties that go under contract. We have 4,300 agents in the county. So it's not really a big, I don't think it's a big place. It's reasonable. There's enough business for everybody, I guess. I think that answers your question, right? What else do you need to know about the market?
So you concentrate in one county, in the whole
Yes.
county. I see. Oh, okay. So how far
The whole
usually?
county.
The whole county. I see. Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay.
The whole county
you.
is about, my county is about, I'm going to say it's about 40 miles. It's a very narrow county. Okay, it's narrow. but it's long. It's about 40 miles. So I live in the middle. So I'll go both ways, north and south. Okay. And since when the market went down 10 years ago, and I was already with Mike Ferry said, you should widen your area. Don't work only one area, work everywhere. And that's what I did. And was the best advice he gave us, because I really work everywhere. And I sell homes in so many different places that when people ask, have you ever sold homes here? And I have great sales in all different areas. And I can get listings everywhere. I don't have to be only in those very super, super desirable areas. I can go anywhere. So, and they have different price points in different locations. So I can make money anywhere in the county. It's a good thing.
That's great. Silvia, this has been fantastic. Very, very good. Hugely informative. Everyone, I can't unmute. I don't know how to do that anymore. My machine's different. Robert, can you do that? All right, everybody, congratulations, Silvia. Big hand. All right.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Silvia. Really, really appreciate it. What we like to do now, Silvia, and you're welcome to stay and live. Go over what we learned. So what did we learn today from Silvia? What was some of the ahas? Iris? I don't know. Ahas for today.
Can I say something, Neil?
Of course, Tess.
Okay. What I really like about her, she's almost like the way I operate my business, where you're on your own, and she has a TC and she has a team, but really not a buyer agent, but just working on her own. She really thrives to learn every day to improve her business. She studies it, and she really works hard to be better at what she does. I love that.
Yeah. That sounds a lot like what you do, Tess. Absolutely. Yeah, good job. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead, Delroy.
Yeah, I like when she said, when you learn what to say, your mindset is different, because I guess you get more confident, right? I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And isn't it interesting, Delroy, in the last couple months, how much more confident you are because you're at the scripts practice every morning, and we have you on open mic, and we have you doing scripts practice with us. Isn't that interesting?
I'm a work in progress.
You are definitely a work in progress. I love it. Good job. Okay, what else did we learn? Go ahead, Cherry.
Sylvia, I just wanted to thank you for sharing when you first started that you went to 6 prospecting clinics. And you didn't have much success at the time until you met the coach. That's exactly what happened to me. I was completely terrified to prospect. Got licensed last summer. I went to my first prospecting clinic in September, and I still didn't prospect when I got home. I went to another one at the end of January, and that's when I met the person who was running the prospecting clinic. He became my fairy coach because it just made more sense. And then a week later, I switched to Century 21 Masters with Neil.
Oh, wow. Well, you're at the right place.
Things are, I'm less terrified now to prospect. And it's nice to hear that someone else was also equally, if not more, terrified to prospect from the beginning. So thank you for sharing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Good stuff.
I think I was more terrified also because.
Go ahead, Sylvia.
I think I was more terrified also because I didn't speak good English. My English was really, it was very difficult. And I had to really learn how to enunciate better, how to pronunciate the things better so that they wouldn't understand. Because a lot of times they were hanging up on me because they said, I cannot even understand what you're saying. So imagine your level of confidence when people start saying that. You came from a country where you knew how to speak English, no, you speak the language. You come to a different country, you cannot even speak. But I thought there is definitely a reason why I am in this business, and I'm not gonna giving up was never an option for me. It's never an option for me. It's for me, for somebody to say no to me, it's a very difficult thing. I would try hard so that the answer is not going to be no. So it's I'm very I try really hard. So it's a great thing that you guys keep going with prospecting.
Oh, well, you're trying hard comes through loud and clear. Congratulations. All right. Any other questions? As we wrap this up.
So Neil, my takeaway was very similar to what Cherry and Sylvia were just talking about. Sylvia, again, thank you so much for being here. What a treat to listen to what you had to say. But the concept of not giving up in our business, especially when it comes to prospecting, people give up after one no. And when you think about it, it's came to this country, barely spoke English, couldn't get a job because of no experience. So it's like, well, I'm not just going to give up. I'm going to go get a real estate license. And then I'm going to go to prospecting school 6 times. Not went once, didn't like it. You know what? This isn't for me. What a lot of people do is like, no, I'm going to go twice, 3, 4, 5, 6 times to figure this out so I can be a superstar. And then, you know, went out and said, well, I'll go get buyer leads and closed a bunch of buyer leads. It just, the idea of the backstory and not giving up, just continue to go forward was very inspirational.
That's great.
Thank you.
Good. Very, very good. All right, everyone. Thank you very, very much, Sylvia. Great job. Let's give her a big hand. Woo!
Thank you very
much. Love to watch this grow. This is great. Congratulations. By the way, Steve Powers is going to be one of our mastermind guests in a couple of weeks. So
I'd love to attend.
Yeah. So we'll make sure you get an invitation for that. Okay.
That'll be wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody. Thank you, Sylvia, again. Just really
Thank you
fantastic.
very much.
Fantastic. Really, really nice. Okay, so Robert, what's next on the agenda?
So we're going to continue on our Mike Ferry 21-point sales system. And today we're talking about tracking numbers, developing skills, and mindset.
Ooh,
So
nice.
3 real important things. So I'm actually excited for this one. So we'll take 5. So 1:13, we'll get started on that. We'll be done by 2. So take a quick 5-minute break, get some water, go to the restroom, do whatever you got to do. And then we'll be back here at 1:13.
All right, everybody. Good job. Thank you.
And then 3:30, we have Diane's advanced sales training class again today as well. So still more to come this afternoon.
More to come.
So Neil, what was your takeaway from Sylvia?
The thing I wrote down clearly, the best thought of the day for me, trade what they want the most with what they want to do today.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's so deep. It's going to take time for me to even digest it. That'll be the conversation at the dinner table tonight. Good stuff. All right. Fantastic, everybody. I love it.
So thanks for setting that up.
Rocking and rolling. Yeah, we keep going. Love
You know, and actually one more thing. I don't know why this stuck with me. And I don't even know if she meant it to stick this way, but she said, if I don't get active and do something different, I'm going to be one of those agents that doesn't make any money. And I guess that maybe stuck with me because in real estate, that's a real possibility. You know, being that 50% of agents actually don't make any money. It's not like one of those things that, well, you know, I won't make any money, but really I will. Well, it's, if I don't adapt and get better, I really won't make any money. I don't know why that just kind of stuck with me in when she said that.
No, it's a great point. And, you know, that's a conversation that we've been having in the last couple of weeks. There's a lot of agents that haven't done what they're supposed to do in the last 2 or 3 months. Now, they haven't done what they're supposed to do long before that on a regular basis, but we lined it out and we laid it out, and we said, look, this is an opportunity, time off, so to speak, or downtime. Get better in 7, 8, 10 different areas. Some did, most didn't. I will tell you, Robert, there's a lot of agents that haven't made money over the last few months. And those agents may not make another paycheck for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's just not good. But I think it's a fact that it's going to be that inventory's tighter. Clearly, we know inventory's tighter. And clearly, we know that the competition is more fierce. So unless you know your craft, and unless you know your scripts and dialogues, and unless you have your head together and your brain going, and you need somebody in your corner, somebody that's done this before and will help you get there. Otherwise, shut the key off, go home, and I don't know what, or ramp it up. And I'll to credit to a few agents in the company right now. I've had a few agents come to me, and I'm going to open this up to anyone, and actually bare their soul, so to speak, and say, look, I have to make money. I have to make this work. I have to get going. And I'm committing myself and Robert, Brett, Diane, and the rest of the support team to get that done. But you have to want it. And I'm telling you, if you ask me for help, I'm going to give it to you. But you had better get your tush in gear and make it happen, because we're not going to do this half-ass. How's that for a commitment? Okay, you want it, I'm there. But don't even start down the path unless you're willing to give it your all. And we can help you make the change. I mean, come on, guys and gals. 184 pendings and 108 listings taken in 45 days during the quarantine. Who's going to help you besides us? Come on, look, give us a chance. Give yourself a chance.
Well, there you go. There you go. I'm going to stop asking you questions because you're really hard to follow. We're going to start doing this talk at 1:55. When I'm done with my 1 o'clock class, and then you can do your 5-minute inspirational thing, and then I don't have to do anything after that. They just go prospect. We're going to start doing a 1:55 5-minute Neil inspiration moment, and that's what we're going to do. Instead of Neil,
I'm just answering your question.
Let's talk about tracking numbers.
I'm just answering your question.
I know you're doing a great job. That's the problem.
Thanks. Well, thank you. Well, you're doing a great job too. So this is a mutual. Why don't we just talk to each other? All right, let's get going, you guys. Come on, rock and roll.
All right, here we go. 113. So we are almost done. We've been doing this for the last 4 or 5 weeks, taking a couple points from the Mike Ferry sales system. There's 21 points that, going over some key things and hopefully getting better at each of these points. So today we are going, I actually think these are 3 very important things, which is tracking numbers, developing skills, and mindset. So let's go ahead and jump into this, because I want to make sure we're definitely going to be done by 2 o'clock. So I want to make sure that we get through this, because there's a lot of really great things